Here we are on Prion Terraces. I think the first game on Prion Terraces today, surprisingly enough.
Ooh.
In the top left-hand corner, from Bly on Fire, it is the pink Zerg Scarlett.
Is that where it comes from?
Bly on Fire, yeah. Bly,
Yeah.
when Bly was facing Lilbo, or no, Petit Drogo. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the green Zerg from Team Ascension Pro. It is Nistic.
I saw that. I was wondering where it was because I was talking I was at obviously DreamHack and I saw Scarlett going into the booth. I wanted to go into the booth, but I woke up a little bit late because I was gonna give Bly a lighter because obviously you can't be on fire if you don't have a light, right? So I was gonna give him a lighter, but I got there. I got there for like the 4th map, so I was a bit late. But that was a pretty good tournament. But yeah, we're into Prion Terraces, and we do actually have the standard natural being taken as opposed to the gold, which is something you do see a bit of. I guess hatch first, you don't want to take that on the gold because you're way too exposed. So they go for the hatch first at the natural. If you go spawn and pull gas, or spawn and pull gas in, or just spawn and pull into the gold, then obviously you're going to be a little bit safer. But yeah, they go for the naturals. Like, you don't really see that too often. They're like both of them at least.
Yeah, it's kind of funny both going hatch gas pool for a while. Of course, those pool first were incredibly common. And then a little bit of a unique build, the pool gasless opener into a hatch where you get some early lings out and pressure opponents started coming in, and now people are back to the beginning, and it's not as if people figured out how to stop those early pools. It's just the evolution of the meta, people realizing, oh, I could get away with economy and it could work, and then someone saying, oh, I could go gasless and that works. Then eventually it's all going to come around again to those aggressions, but as Pewee said, interesting opener. Both are opening standard. They're not going to quite know this until their Overlord is next to the ramp and they see a lack of lings coming out. But I'm very intrigued to see what we're going to see from Scarlett, especially after her last game. Of course, that was ZVT. But overall, she likes playing Proxy Hatch. She likes playing I can't remember what happened, but some very strange styles overall.
Yeah, she's always been a bit of a great player, so she's always been one of those ones who can mix it up. She's unfortunately never really had that tournament win. The closest she got was it Home Story? It was like a Home Story Cup. No, it was Aces Rock Germany, where she lost to Jadon in the finals in like 2013, which was the first one that Jadon won. But she's a great player. She's had a lot of respect for a very long time, and we can see here two Zerglings going to run up the ramp here for Nistic. Queen's ready to intercept them, and one will get sniped instantly, and the rest should just... Oh yeah, nice save. She wants to deny the information of the gas, and also she is building a Baneland nest, but they are both building that. Of course, you never really know if it's a defensive or a an aggressive one. But the gold is going to get taken here for both of them.
If you see a little bit different deviations of the ZVZ metagame, you also see Roach Warren in that position. It's only 125 minerals, just trying to play safe each player. Overlords of Scarlet do manage to spot Nistics, of course, third base, while Nistic has not quite seen Scarlet. No, it looks like he was able to. Both players pretty much emulating each other the exact same way, and I'm really curious where we're going to see this go, and it may come down to purely how good are your mechanics, because they are copying, mirroring each other overall.
Yeah, and Scarlet has a slight advantage. She did pick off the Overlord while, her Overlord stopped moving. The Queen's coming up to pick it off. She could have saved that. She could have actually saved that, but it will get picked off.
Nistic with a little bit quicker aggression force than Scarlett. Scarlett was poking and prodding, but she does have to fall back for now. And majority of the fights, of course, are going to be happening on Nistic's side of the map because Scarlett's a little bit farther out, and that means he will defender's advantage a little bit of his creep over. See how the Baneling shots go. Looks like the Banelings of Nistic. There's our first shot coming out from Scarlett. She loses her very first Baneling. The second one is very close to going down, and I think the entire aggression of Scarlett has just been destroyed in a matter of a couple seconds. But off the back of this, she's just droning while we have Roach Warren for Nistic.
That's what I was going to say. I think she's just kind of faking it a bit. Like, it's not that many resources she's putting into it. And,
it was very small too, yeah.
Yeah, and she did have, she had 25 to 32 workers before any of that aggression started. So she has a slightly better economy, and now she's up to 39 v 28. So she just has to make sure she doesn't die right here. And she'll be fine because the aggression's kind of getting ramped up here by Nistic.
But as you mentioned, the economy of Scarlet is a little bit quicker. Nice Baneling hit so far. It looks like the Lings of Nistic eventually will be cleaned up. Scarlet's pushing him back. But Nistic just says so much more. As you're saying, though, as long as Scarlett can survive for a little while longer, she will have a stronger economy. The baneling shots of Nistic, she has got a couple ideal shots, but now Scarlett is dancing, doing a dangerous dance. Beautiful spread out by drones, but the baneling, oh man, Nistic is getting so close. Scarlett is playing it so close, but it looks like Scarlett, here's the influx of banelings on her side. It is 5 banelings to the only 1 of Nistic, and Nistic will have to retreat.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he had a great trade there. 2 banelings for 4 is so good. So he wins that little trade. He's building roaches behind us, and so now is Scarlett. So the next stage is of course going to be a bit of roach aggression into a roach ravager, and then it can escalate from there. Like normally it ends up roach ravager. Yeah.
Oh, and you always have that situation where it's really who's gutsy first, going to mix in a couple Hydras or do something of sort of that. Even sometimes we'll see big meta transitions, but for now, Scarlett getting very aggressive, realizing, hey, I did some damage to you earlier, your economy's not quite as good, maybe I can push you, but there's enough roaches out for Nistic. It's got to be really careful. There is enough lings to get a full surround. Nistic falls back onto the creep. Scarlett's creep, of course, a little bit better. Easier for her to fall back onto, and we have +1 missile on the way. Not only that, but we have Overlord speed.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I don't think she's really going to use that for much. Maybe for like faster overseas and get some
corrosive biles, though, getting out of the way of those if you're both going heavy roach, just preemptively defending.
Yeah, definitely, and I can't think of what it's called when you you drop it on the thing and stop them building stuff. So she might try and stop production of lava. I can't think of what it's called. It's not contaminate. Yeah, contaminate.
Sorry. Yeah, contaminate from the overseers. That could be pretty cool, moving in and contaminating some of the bases. She doesn't have any overloads quite ready for that, but at least for now, she's got a very strong contain on Nistic. Nistic on 3 bases to her 4 bases, and something I don't see quite used as often as I would like to. But you have the Zelnagas, of course. Nistic taking the top right, trying to get some action, trying to spot exactly what's going down. But, ooh, Banelings looking to angle in onto the gold base of Scarlett.
We have 2 queens close by, so they should be triggered first, and if she has fast enough reactions, she should just pull the workers, but there are roaches. Okay, they're heading down south. But she's also up at 60 workers. We have a little bit of an engagement up there. She has like a nice economic lead right now.
Oh, and the banelings are moving in.
They're going to get destroyed.
Oh, moving into a meat grinder. All of them taken out. Enough roaches are out for Scarlett. But just curious, I'm going to look at, we have 15 roaches of Nistic to the 14 of Scarlett. Relatively equal. Scarlett does have 4 Ravagers while Nistic doesn't have any. But they're both playing this as a very passive ZVZ. One of the most passive I've seen in a very long time, Huey.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can't really blame her. She has the nice economic lead, and you know she's probably the superior player here. So you can't really blame her. And we do have a couple of Zerglings trying to find maybe that gold base because it has been taken, and you know a base over your opponent is pretty good. But yeah, the Overseer comes in. It doesn't drop a contaminate as I can tell, but it does get a bit of information, which is quite important.
And we have a baneling drop from Scarlett. The 1 baneling, 2 banelings go in. 9 kills so far she's been able to achieve. And now we have the main army engaging. Though lots of lings preemptively trying to get us around on Scarlett's forces, trying to shut them down. But Scarlett purely just has more than this. I don't know if Nistic's he's gone just a little bit too deep. Currently, Roach Wise is 27 to 28, but there's not too many here for Nistic. The bait is beautiful. GG! Scarlett takes game 1 after a very passive game, looking for the prime opportunity, sends the banelings in, takes out the natural base. And then, as you said, a perfect bait into just overwhelming roach odds.
Yeah, that like I say, she kind of baited him, made him think that like some aggression was coming, like faking it, and then she just macroed behind it, you know. So it's
it was great.
It's a good mind game, and it's something that you have to learn as well. Like against Zergs is so much more potent as well because of how their economy works, how their production and stuff like that. So. It's a bigger bait then as well.
Yeah, even just a slight lead for a minute or 2 in workers, as mentioning earlier on, her pumping out workers, then some lings was able to secure her a really nice position overall in the game. Game 2 of this best of 3 will be on Orbital Shipyard, and I'm very intrigued to see how Nistic is going to switch it up, because Game 1, very unorthodox. You hardly ever see those passive ZVZs, and Orbital Shipyard, though, is a map where it's kind of do see those passive stuff too, but we may have some aggression. Wait, I'd have to pause the game and remove pizza from the oven. Is that okay? Nistic, hey, in 4 minutes I might have to pause the game and remove pizza from the oven. I guess Scarlett says it's okay. Nistic, preparing some victory food. He's preparing a victory luncheon.
Well, I'll probably To drown his sorrows in.
Drown. Yeah, it's a drown his sorrows lunch. Shut up. So,
Sorry. All right. Game number 2, boys.
in the bottom left-hand corner, pardon me, the bottom left-hand corner of Orbital Shipyard, it is the pink Zerg player up 1-0. It's Scarlett. And her opponent in the top right-hand corner from Team Ascension Pro, the green Zerg, it's Nistic. With a, what looks like, both extractor tricking. I think they may both go into standard hatch gas pool from this point on.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was just retweeting the StarCraft Esports Twitter because they mentioned this tweet. So thank you, Romy, if you're here. They haven't mentioned us, so it was linked into it then. But I just got timed out posted it. But yeah, on a map like this, like we already saw them go hatchery first when like they don't have an in base. So like I would definitely expect the same, and that's exactly what we see. And then spawn in pool next, and then maybe a gas or even a faster third if possible. So yeah, guys, go retweet that. Get everyone in here. Like the finals are coming up after this, so we don't have too many games, so we want as many people as possible for that, if possible, because we're giving away a collector's edition.
I guess technically you guys don't want as many people in the chat because you guys in the chat want it, but really it would mean a lot. As someone in chat was mentioning, we can get some more quality control stuff. This is, of course, Filthy Rake's channel. Please follow below if you can. It would really, really mean a lot. Please take a second out of your day. Do that right now. Even if you don't want to receive an email, that's fine. We just could use the follow to keep our channel going, keep Filthy's channel going overall, and hopefully someday get our partnership up and going. So far, I'm incredibly surprised that both players are playing incredibly, very, very passive. I'm sure we'll see a Baneling Nest once again just to be safe, but I'm curious what has spurred them on to do this.
I think both of them believe that they're good enough to where they can defend early aggression with a hatchery first, and you only go somewhat aggressive if you go pool first, which is 4 to 6 circlings normally, because you do get that circling speed like 90% of the time with the spawn and pool first. So I would say just that, like they both feel comfortable enough where they can defend, and we kind of skip. There's the PP.
There's the pizza. He's going to be back in approximately a minute to get the pizza. Wow, 2 minutes and 33 seconds in. This guy can't count. Yeah, in approximately 4 minutes, I'll need to get my pizza. This is Nistic versus Scarlett. Scarlett is up 1-0 in this best of 3 on the other side of the bracket. Let me just check out where we are. Oh no, I've lost the link. Oh wait, no, I got it, guys. I got it. Scarlett versus Nistic's going down, and then Neeblit versus Semper is the other part of the semifinals. The finals will be a best of 5. I know that Pewee thinks it's going to be Scarlett versus Neeb. I'm just for the sake of good show, I'm going to say Scarlett versus Semper. Semper's going to pull it out of the bag and take the victory and crush Scarlett. That's what's going to happen.
Ooh, I like that. I like Devil's Advocate, so that's good.
I don't think it's Devil's Advocate. I think it's called losing money on a bet.
Yeah. Essentially.
Mystic, yes.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Yes, comforting it'll be to eat after this game, I'm sure. Alright, Scarlett up 1-0. As Pewee just said, they're both feeling very confident, okay, at defending the early aggression. It's hard on Orbital Shipyard, too, because a queen can easily block it off, but Scarlett, maybe a little bit greedy, maybe too overconfident, takes an early hatch while Nistic, or early third on her part, while Nistic slightly earlier Baneling Nest, but I think it's going to matter overall. They're really easily mirroring each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's not that much diversion, really, in CVC. It's up until they get roaches, and then they start to, like you might get roach speed, or just straight for Ravagers, or, like, sometimes you do get certain drops as well, which are really funky. So this is where it should start diverging a little bit. They've just got all the means to make sure they don't die. Like, that's essentially what they've got here. And yeah, we have a little bit of circling fights. Nistic with 4v2, but now we have the queen.
Oh, he's going to have to pull back, attempting to get a scout into the main to see what's going on with the queens.
Yeah, and circling speed just finished for Scarlett, so she wins that fight because they can't escape. So he has that defensive Baneling's morphing in for both of them, but Like, this is also a bit of a larger map, so they do have a nice defender's advantage as well.
Both being very careful, very hesitant. Just a note, every once in a while, when you do see very aggressive Zergs early on, when they're still doing hatch gas pool type things, often when you see a Zerg get metabolic boost, even for 5 seconds before their opponent does, they can easily change the game. But now we're seeing our big deviations. Scarlett, Evo Chamber layer into the Roach Warren. I was going to say maybe she's going for some weird drop, something akin to that, but the Roach Warren of Nistic is much quicker. He's feeling not quite as safe, yet once again this allows Scarlett to drone up a little bit, and she currently is in the lead. Nistic's going to be able to even that out, but Scarlett's been in the lead for multiple seconds. Cap of multiple seconds. For some seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for the time being, it's still, we have to see the exact tech choices that they can choose for. So the Lead's about to finish up. We have a Roach one, so we should have Roach speed plus missile attack. So she's probably going to carry on with Roach Ravager, which, you know, it's a great composition. It has a lot of utility to it, and like, I think the Ravager is a really well designed unit, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're really cool. And I love, you'll see players like Bly and a lot of, not even the lower leagues, but just a lot of the people that aren't the cream of the crop often just make a whole bunch of them. They think they're cool, but then you have really beautiful players like Bly, who I love watching, and they're spellcasters. They're a phenomenal utility that it may allow you to get rid of force fields, start getting rid of supply depots, but they change the overall aspect and just kind of the fighting, the battleground in StarCraft 2, which I love. But we'll see how many they mix in. Last game, Scarlett mixed in many, many more than Nistic. I don't think Nistic even got that many, or the previous games on Orbital Shipyard we've seen, but from Scarlett. Looks like we see a huge push out from Nistic, 45 armor supply to the 24 of Scarlett. Scarlett is setting up a nice defense back at home, but when will she start pumping roaches? She's not quite seen this armor move out. I think she barely had with one of her overlords. We'll see. The defense is going to be all up to her.
Yeah, she's got a chunk of Baneland, so this aggression should not work out at all here. She's also up by 19 workers, so if she can just keep this like going, she's going to have such a good economy. But the units are rolling down. She has defender's advantage. 2 Spine Callers morphing in as well. And she doesn't have too many roaches, but 3 Queens also do help out a lot. Baneland's rolling down the ramp. They're going to start colliding into each other.
There's not enough roaches. I don't think there's enough roaches right here for Nistic. He barely is having enough to kill the Banelings, but there's now enough roaches to overwhelm, and even for the Lings to overwhelm them and get us around. GG! Scarlett 2-0 moves on to the finals.